The Stellar Plate floated high above Planet Zara, a luxury restaurant built inside a space station. Its windows showed a clear view of the stars, and soft music played in the background. It was known across the galaxy as the most expensive place to eat. Only the richest and most powerful people could get a seat here. Kings, warlords, alien politicians, tech billionaires, all gathered here for business, gossip, or secret deals. Tonight was no different. A tall man stepped out of a glowing hovercraft at the restaurant's docking bay. His black jacket shimmered with crystals from Moon Sector 5. His name was Corvin Miles, a rude, arrogant tycoon who believed the galaxy belonged to him. 2 robot guards opened the golden door for him. He didn't thank them. "I want the VIP table," Corvin barked. The robotic host nodded. "Of course, sir." Inside, other guests noticed him and whispered, "That's Corvin," one alien muttered. "He owns the mines on 4 moons." "He also shut down a refugee station just to build his resort," another whispered. Corvin didn't care. He walked straight to the center table and threw his coat at a nearby server. A few moments later, a young waitress walked over. She was tall, with warm brown skin, calm eyes, and a quiet smile. Her hair was tied back neatly, and she wore the simple black and silver uniform of Stellar Plate. Her name was Amara. She held a small glowing menu tablet. "Welcome to Stellar Plate, sir. May I take your—" Corvin didn't even look at her. "Stop talking," he snapped. "You're just a server. Speak when spoken to." A few people at nearby tables laughed. Others looked uncomfortable but stayed quiet. Amara didn't flinch. She just gave a polite nod and said softly, "Of course, sir," then turned and walked away. One guest whispered, "Why doesn't she stand up for herself?" Another shrugged. "She's probably used to it." But in a dark corner of the restaurant, someone else was watching. A man in a gray cloak sipped his drink quietly. His face stayed hidden under his hood, but if you looked closely, you'd recognize him. Vin Diesel, Earth's peace ambassador, sent by the Galactic Council. His eyes never left Amara. Corvin leaned back in his chair and snapped his fingers. "Bring me something rare. And hurry." Amara returned calmly. "Tonight's special is Starlion steak from the Nebula Fields, sir." "Ah. Do you people only serve fancy trash? Just bring me a real meal." Amara remained professional. "Very well." As she walked away again, one of the alien nobles muttered to his friend, "Why do they hire her? She doesn't belong here." "She's too calm," another said. "Too quiet." In the kitchen, the staff moved quickly. Chefs floated above fireless stoves, slicing glowing vegetables and sizzling meats with plasma knives. But behind the quiet action, there was tension. "Did he insult her again?" one cook asked. "Yes," another whispered. "3rd time this week." Amara entered the kitchen, placed the order, and walked to a corner panel. She pressed a finger to it, and the panel glowed blue. The kitchen AI spoke in a soft tone. "Authorization confirmed. Welcome, executive user." Amara said nothing. Back in the dining room, Corvin was laughing loudly at a joke he made. He threw his napkin on the floor and kicked it under the table. A young alien busboy bent down to pick it up. Corvin waved his hand. "Leave it. That's her job." Vin Diesel slowly stood from his table and walked toward the bar. But before he reached it, something strange happened. The lights flickered. Guests looked up. The sky outside the glass windows grew darker. A quiet alarm beeped twice. Corvin frowned. "What now?" The hostess ran over. "We're experiencing a small energy wave from the planet below. Nothing to worry about." But Amara was already standing still, watching the alert with sharp eyes. She turned to Corvin and said in a calm voice, "Sir, would you like to move to the private lounge while we check the systems?" He smirked. "You don't tell me what to do, server." Amara nodded, then turned and walked toward a side hallway. Vin Diesel, still watching, smiled just a little. The truth was about to unfold, and no one in the room, especially Corvin, had any idea who Amara really was. Not yet. The energy alert passed quickly. The music started again, and the guests returned to their drinks and laughter. But not everyone was relaxed. Amara walked down the back hallway of the Stellar Plate. Her calm face hid something powerful. Her mind was moving fast. She reached a locked panel near the staff-only zone. It looked like a cleaning supply door. She glanced around, then placed her hand on the scanner. Blue lights spun. Welcome, high access level. Amara 01. The door slid open. Inside was a small hidden command room with floating screens. Security footage, communications, and energy systems glowed softly in the air. Amara stepped in and closed the door. She touched a floating screen and spoke in a soft voice. Protocol, observation mode. Report last 72 hours. A voice replied. One attempted breach from Corvin Miles's ship. Malware code traced to Sector 9 mining company. Amara narrowed her eyes. Sector 9 was owned by Corvin. She tapped again. Any external scans? Yes. A stealth drone was spotted near our orbit 3 hours ago. Cloaked tech. Unknown origin. She stared at the footage. The drone was scanning Steta plate, especially the guest list and cargo logs. Amara whispered, So that's why he's here. He's not here for dinner. Behind her, the door opened slowly. Vin Diesel stood in the doorway. Calm, silent, respectful. Amara didn't turn around. You always walk like a shadow, Vine. He smiled. And you hide like a ghost. But I see you. She turned toward him now. They still think I'm just a server. Vine nodded. That's what makes you powerful. Nobody watches the quiet ones. Amara looked back at the screens. Corvin is planning something. He brought a cloaked signal jammer. It's hidden in one of the wine crates. Vine stepped closer. So, what do we do? Her voice was firm now. We wait. Let him make the first move. Back in the dining hall, Corvin slammed his hand on the table. Where's my drink? How long does it take to pour a bottle? A nervous waiter rushed over with a floating tray. Sorry, sir. Corvin snatched the drink, took a sip, then threw the glass on the floor. Oh, this tastes like engine oil. The room went quiet. Everyone turned. Corvin stood up. This place is overrated. I've eaten better meals on prison planets. One of the alien nobles whispered, He's drunk. Another muttered, Or he's planning something. Look at his guards. Indeed, Corvin's 2 personal guards were now standing near exits, eyes scanning the room. Amara returned just then, calm as always. Sir, would you like to end your evening now? We have a shuttle ready. Corvin turned to her, eyes wild. Are you threatening me, girl? He said loud enough for everyone to hear. She kept her cool. No, his mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. The rich guests stared in silence. Some were still frozen mid-bite. Others lowered their glasses, too afraid to blink. Amara stood firm, her glowing crest shining softly in the dim restaurant light. Corvin finally spoke, voice low but sharp. This is some kind of trick. Amara raised an eyebrow. No, this is your reality. He laughed nervously. You, a royal, a council commander, dressed as a waitress in some floating food shack. Vin Diesel stepped forward. This floating shack has security stronger than half the galaxy's warships. And the woman you just insulted could crush your entire mining empire with one order. Still, Corvin shook his head, pretending not to care. I don't believe it. You think you scare me? Amara didn't flinch. You're not the one I want to scare. She looked toward the ceiling and said one word, show. A soft hum filled the room. Suddenly, a large hologram appeared above the dining tables, visible to all. It showed a secret video clip, time-stamped just hours ago. A hidden room. Corvin standing with 2 masked figures. One voice said, the jamming device will take out all comms. Then you'll have 30 seconds before backup responds. Corvin's voice replied clearly, Good, I only need 20. Get me the access key to the council vault. Once I have it, this sector is mine. The hologram vanished. Gasps filled the air. Alien nobles leaned back in shock. Earth politicians whispered in panic. One Martian general stood up and shouted, Is this real? Amara turned to the guests. We intercepted the signal an hour before he even landed. Vine crossed his arms. We've been tracking him for months. But now, we have proof. Corvin tried to walk toward the exit, but Amara raised her hand. A soft ripple passed through the floor. Suddenly, 4 security drones dropped from the ceiling, surrounding him. They weren't regular machines. They were council-grade, with glowing blue eyes and plasma cuffs ready. Corvin froze. Amara stepped forward, her voice soft but deadly. "You came here to steal from us. You brought poison into my house. And worst of all, you disrespected the staff." Corvin laughed again, trying to recover. "What staff? This whole thing is staged." Amara smiled. "Is it?" She waved her hand. Every waiter and waitress in the room straightened up. They pressed buttons on their wrists, and just like Amara's, their clothes transformed. Uniforms shimmered into dark suits and armor. Faces turned serious. Dozens of elite guards now stood where servers once walked. Corvin's face went white. He looked around, surrounded. Vin walked closer and whispered, "You ever hear of the Shadow Command? The force that guards royal bloodlines?" Corvin nodded slowly. Vin gestured around. "Well, you're eating in their headquarters." In a dark corner, a cloaked figure had been watching everything. They hadn't moved the whole time. Now, they activated a tiny device on their belt and whispered, "Plan Alpha failed. Activate Beta. Go dark." The message disappeared into static. Back in the dining hall, Amara gave a nod to the drones. They stepped forward and locked magnetic cuffs on Corvin's wrists. He didn't struggle now. He just glared at her. "You think you've won?" Amara leaned in. "You never had a chance." As they escorted him out, the room burst into quiet applause. Some guests stood, others bowed lightly toward Amara. Word would spread fast about the waitress who unmasked a traitor. But as she turned to walk away, Vin placed a hand on her shoulder. "You saw him," he said quietly. Amara nodded. "Yes, the cloaked one in the corner." Vin's tone dropped. "We have a bigger problem." She looked into his eyes. "Then it begins." The restaurant was still echoing with whispers after Corvin's arrest. But Amara wasn't smiling. She had seen the cloaked figure in the corner, and she knew this night wasn't over. Vin Diesel walked beside her as they entered the control room hidden behind the kitchen wall. Inside, holograms showed all security footage from the restaurant. "Slow the feed," Amara said, pointing to the shadowed booth near the window. They watched again. The moment the hologram of Corvin's secret deal started playing, the cloaked figure had calmly tapped a device and vanished, just before the security drones dropped. "Zoom in on his hand," Amara said. The AI enhanced the frame. They saw a black ring with a crimson symbol, an ancient mark known only to a few. Vin's face went pale. "I know that symbol," Amara whispered. "The Crimson Circle." Vine nodded. "But they went underground years ago. We thought they were destroyed." "No," Amara said, her voice firm. "They've been watching, waiting, and now they're moving again." Far away, deep inside a hidden asteroid base, the cloaked man removed his hood. His name was Zarok, and he wasn't just a spy. He was one of the Crimson Circle's top assassins. Behind him stood a group of masked elites, watching a projection of Amara's face. "She's more dangerous than expected," Zarok said. "She's just a royal," one muttered. "No," Zarok corrected. "She's the last blood of the House of Avera. If she survives, the galaxy unites. If she falls, chaos returns. We must strike before she learns the truth." Another voice asked, "What about the Earth Ambassador? Vine Diesel?" Zarok narrowed his eyes. "If he gets in the way, remove him." Back at Stellar Plate, the elite restaurant now locked down, Amara stood before her staff, no longer waiters, but warriors of the Shadow Command. They stood at attention. "We were trained for this day," Amara told them. "The Crimson Circle has returned, and I may be their target." One young soldier stepped forward. "Then we protect you with our lives, Commander." But Amara raised her hand. "No, I must leave. I need to find something they fear more than me, my origin." The room grew quiet. Vine entered. "She's right. The Circle knows something. Something tied to her past. We need answers, not just weapons." Amara looked at Vin. Will you come with me? He smiled faintly. I didn't cancel my Earth meetings for soup. I'm with you. Hours later, under the cover of darkness, a stealth ship flew away from Solaria's orbit. Amara sat in silence, staring at a metal cube on the table between them. It was old, etched with the Avera royal code. Her mother gave it to her before she died, saying only, "You'll know when to open it." Vine leaned over. Now might be that time. Amara took a deep breath and touched the center. Click. The cube unfolded into a floating sphere of light. A voice echoed from the light. It was her mother's. My daughter, if you are hearing this, the circle has returned. You were never just royalty. You are the keeper of the core flame, a weapon that can end darkness or destroy worlds. Amara froze. Vine stared stunned. The message continued. They'll come for you, and they'll lie. Even your memories may not be real, but trust the flame inside you. It will guide you home. The light faded. Silence. Then the ship's alarms began to scream. Vin rushed to the controls. We've been tracked. A missile locked onto their position. Amara's eyes glowed faintly as her hand moved toward the ship's energy core. Vine looked back. What are you doing? She said just one word. Awakening. The small stealth ship shook violently as the missile closed in. Vin grabbed the side of the control panel. Brace for impact. But Amara didn't flinch. She stood still, her eyes glowing brighter, golden flames flickering in her pupils. Her palm touched the ship's energy core. Suddenly, light exploded through the walls. Not fire, not electricity. Power. Ancient. Alive. The missile reached them and vanished. No sound, no heat. It was just gone. Vine stared in disbelief. The radar showed nothing now. Clear skies, no threat. Amara slowly pulled her hand back. The glow faded. Her body trembled. Vine stepped forward. What did you do? Amara turned to him, her voice shaking. I didn't do anything. The flame inside me, it protected us. Vine looked down at the energy core. Its color had changed, from blue to bright orange, pulsing like a heartbeat. They landed on a small forgotten moon, Valari Prime. It was once a temple world of the old royals, now abandoned. The planet's surface was quiet, broken stone towers standing like lonely bones. Amara walked forward slowly. I've been here before, she whispered. Vine followed. Are you sure? Amara touched a wall. Symbols lit up under her fingers. The language of her ancestors. A hidden door opened. They walked into a dark tunnel. Deep inside, an ancient throne room waited, dusty, broken, but still full of power. In the center stood a silver mirror. But the mirror didn't show their reflections. It showed memories. Amara stepped closer. The mirror came to life. A vision appeared, her as a child, running in the palace garden. Then, the circle attacking. Screams. Fire. Her mother hiding her in a pod. They must never know who you are. Until the flame wakes. The pod launches. The stars rush past. Then darkness. Amara fell back, breathing hard. Vane helped her up. It's true. You're the last of your bloodline. But I was never meant to be just royalty, Amara said. I'm the Flammekeeper. I carry a weapon and a warning. Vine looked at her seriously. And now, the Crimson Circle knows you're alive. Back in space, on the Crimson Circle's war station, Xerok stood before a giant screen. It showed Amara's ship entering Valari Prime. A general spoke. Shall we strike? Xerok raised a hand. Not yet. Let her unlock the flame. Let her think she's winning. Another officer asked, why? Xerok's smile was cruel. Because once she activates it fully, we can steal it. The room went silent. Xerok continued, the flame is too powerful to destroy. But in our hands, it becomes the end of the galactic order. That night, on Valari Prime, Amara sat alone in the ruins thinking. She remembered her mother's words. Even your memories may not be real. She wondered how much had been hidden from her. Vin walked up, carrying 2 heat packs. Dinner, Tastes like space chalk, but it's warm. Amara smiled faintly. Thanks. They sat side by side. Vine looked at the stars. You ever wish you were just normal? Amara sighed. All the time. But I don't have that choice anymore. Vin chuckled. Yeah. Well, you handled a missile with your mind. So pretty sure you were never normal. She laughed a little. Then they both went quiet. Because above them, a shadow passed over the stars. Amara stood up quickly. Did you see that? Vin checked the scanner. His face went cold. We're not alone. A dark shape moved across the ridge, then another. Crimson masks, cloaks, weapons. Amara and Vin backed toward the temple. I think the circle just made their move, he said. Amara's hand began to glow again. No, she replied. Now I make mine. The ruins of Valari Prime shook as footsteps echoed across the old stone floors. From the shadows, Crimson Circle soldiers emerged, armor glowing red, weapons humming with deadly energy. Vine stood beside Amara, blaster drawn. There's too many of them. Amara's eyes glowed faintly. She whispered, I don't need to run anymore. The lead circle general stepped forward. Amara of the Flame, surrender. Your power belongs to us now. She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped to the center of the ruined throne room. Beneath her feet, the stones began to glow, forming the shape of a phoenix. The ancient voice of the temple echoed. Flamekeeper has returned. Crown her now. Suddenly, fire rose from the ground, not burning, but alive, spiraling around Amara like golden wind. Her dusty waitress clothes faded away, replaced with royal armor marked by the old symbols of Solaria. Vin's eyes widened. You're not just a royal. Amara stepped forward. I am the rightful heir to Solaria, she said clearly. And I own more than a restaurant. She pointed at the soldiers. I own this planet, and by law, you're trespassing. The crimson soldiers rushed forward. Vine fired. Amara moved faster than light. With a wave of her hand, fire shaped like wings exploded outward, knocking enemies to the walls. Another reached for her. She spun, flame coiling around her arm like a whip, cracking against his chest plate. Vin threw a grenade. Amara kicked it midair, sending it into the enemy's hover tank. Boom! The roof shook, the ancient pillars cracked, but Amara stood tall, untouched. The general screamed, You don't even know how to control that power. Amara's voice was calm. Then you should be even more afraid. Outside, a great ship descended from the clouds, marked with the crest of the old royal fleet. Vin turned. Wait, who called backup? A hologram appeared in the sky, the Galactic Council seal. The voice of Earth's ambassador came through, Vin Diesel's voice, amplified across the system. Attention all forces. Amara Solaria has been recognized by the Galactic Council. She is the legal owner of the Stellar Plate, Solaria Prime, and all royal holdings. Anyone who raises arms against her will face immediate planetary sanctions. The Crimson Circle froze. Vine smiled. Told you they'd listen to me. Amara looked over at him. You made that call? He shrugged. Let's say I know when to bet on the right queen. The battle stopped. The general dropped his weapon. Retreat. The soldiers vanished into their cloaked ships, disappearing like ghosts. Amara walked to the center of the temple and sat on the old throne. The flames around her calmed and vanished into her skin. She closed her eyes. For the first time in her life, she felt still. Vin walked over. You good? She nodded. Better. He leaned against a cracked pillar. So, what now? Amara opened her eyes. Now I rebuild. The stellar plate is mine. The flame is mine. My people need to know the truth. Vin grinned. Just tell me you'll keep me as head of security. She raised an eyebrow. We'll see. A week later, back at the Stellar Plate restaurant, a new grand opening was taking place. The galaxy's elite gathered once more. Reporters, diplomats, celebrities. But this time, the waitress wasn't wearing a uniform. Amara stepped onto the main balcony in a royal robe, her crown burning gently with flame. She raised a hand. Welcome to the new Solaria. The crowd applauded. But at one table, someone coughed loudly. Corvin, the rude customer from before, was back. He smirked, didn't expect the server to become queen. Amara walked to his table, calm, confident. She leaned down. "No," she said softly, smiling. "You never expected the queen to serve her people like a server." The crowd went silent. Then, cheers erupted. Corvin's smirk faded. He slowly stood and walked out, humiliated. Vin appeared beside Amara. That line was cold. She laughed. "I've been waiting to use it." Later that night, alone on the balcony, Amara looked up at the stars. Vin joined her. "You know," he said, "you didn't just take back a throne." Amara turned to him. "No." He smiled. "You made the galaxy believe again." She nodded. And from high above, the stars seemed to burn just a little brighter. Because the flame had returned. And this time, it belonged to the real owner.